Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a public match with the Otto and Sherrick farms. Love this map. It's a very cool map. Love it a lot. Anyways, Patreon members, thank you for the support. It's greatly appreciated. If you want to get videos before everyone else, check out the link in the description. Or if you want to advertise your regiment throughout this video, you can do that as well. With me announcing this public match, we have Sevi.
Hey, you know, Sevi, 6th New York, best regiment.
Blah. So, with that being said, Otto and Sherrick, I guess what strategies and metas for this for Union, because you are a Union player?
You know, charge the right. And if that fails, then charge the right. And as an alternative, if you're getting really spicy, you can charge the right. If you do anything else, it won't work. Okay, in a public match like this, maybe you'll catch them off guard. Maybe you'll, you know, get lucky somewhere. If you're in a regimental event and the enemies you're playing against have eyeballs and they have legs, which is not a guarantee, so don't get me wrong, it's not a guarantee, then you should win eventually by charging right, and other things will at the very least not work out as well. What you see here is, though, is a very common thing.
Yeah, no, so I was just gonna, our numbers here, we got 220-man server. I mean, it's midnight on a Saturday night, so it's crazy that there are this many players, but 220-man players, about 3 in the favor of CSA. Officers today for CSA got Raptor Willie, Viceroy Texas, Benjamin, Collins, and Kai. On the Union side, you got Ulysses, Barry, Yeater, Skynet, and I think Halo. Yep. And in terms of artillery, Union has 7 and CSA has 11. I like what the Confederates are doing in the house. It's kind of funny. Look at all the guys just on the house balcony. It's kind of cute.
I like it. Yeah, you know, where the rebels are holding right here it's kind of different. I don't know if it's ideal. Generally, you see the rebels hold more to their east on the white picket fence that goes from north to south. Right there, yeah, that one. Against those 2 brick houses, those sheds, and then they've kind of formed an alamo there. What we see here is where they're kind of like not holding that, which is interesting because this might be a sign of coordination, a sign of good coordination here. You do see the rebels, yes, 12th Virginia are holding 2 of those officer spots, 2 of the biggest companies on there. So it does make sense why they're coordinating so well right now. Where you see you got their, I think the rebel strategy here was a pretty smart one. Bait the Yankees into taking that position that they're so commonly take, and then simply have them surrounded. Kind of smart. What you do see here is that the rebels are losing not an insignificant number of tickets in these opening minutes. You always see very slow ticket loss in the first few minutes. A Yankee has surrendered to Private Collins of the Eagle Brigade. A Yankee drummer on the far rebel left. He's saying play white pirate, and now he's trying to escape Yankee rebel captivity. He's being allowed to return home by the rebel commander. A very merciful act. We see he's actually advancing towards the Union push. Corn Brigade's Yeater and 20th New York's Halo is advancing. Oh, he died?
No, I said I hope. I said I hope he gets
you don't see very many people advance. Oh, he got shot.
Was that a team kill?
I was about to say, I think that was a normal kill.
The way his body landed looked like a team kill. Maybe I'm just trying to like, make it happen.
You wish it was a team kill. Yeah.
Right.
Either way, though, you don't often see people advancing towards the enemy and surrounding.
They're just sitting and shooting.
Not
like, they should push up. They got a little nice defilade here by the road that they could use.
I agree, but I've seen much worse. At least they're advancing, and they do have good shots from where they are. I've seen much worse. Rebels are now advancing towards the typical Alamo position, so maybe I was wrong. It doesn't seem like they do want to give up that position off the bat. Although it looked like that from their original dispositions. You see now that where the rebels are holding will be pretty difficult for the Yankees to dislodge, especially because the rebels have a giant force on their far west, not in contact with the enemy. The entire regiment under Recruit Benjamin is on the wrong flank. So the rebels are outnumbered by at least maybe a third on this left while they're being advanced upon by the Yankees. That being said, they do have good shots and good cover, and they also have a bit of a defilade in front of them. So, you know, the Yankees have everything going against them here. But unless they get Benjamin's group over here ASAP, they will lose. At the very least, they'll lose a lot of tickets.
And some Unions starting to hit the Confederate artillery on top of this hill. Looks like they're going to start turning around.
Yankees now advancing. They're kind of piecemeal though. If the Rebels over here play well, they might win this. But again, you see it where most of their line is on the wrong end of the line. They're not engaging with the Yankees here. I think the Yankees are not only going to win this position, but they'll also win a shit ton of tickets here.
And I mean, you're seeing that already.
Back. Why are there so many people holding back? The Barry's group far back is holding back. I don't know why he's back there. They would have already wiped the Rebels here. Rebels are now all coming over here. Benjamin's back over here. Due to the fact that the Yankees not full commit, I actually think the Yankees are going to lose this engagement. That is pretty crazy. That's a bit of a turnaround there. You see all the Rebel officers using their Lamats if they have them. Actually, Rapier Willie for the 12th Virginia, although he is level 42 and can definitely use Lieutenant Colonel, cannot use Lieutenant Colonel Lamat. So,
what, for those of you who don't know, Sevi, what is the Lamat compared to a normal gun in this game?
Oh, that's a good point. Basically, if you are a level, I think 40, 41, or 42 is one of those is the unlock range. You can play Lieutenant Colonel. If you are a Rebel Lieutenant Colonel, you get to select as one of your pistol choices. The Lamat pistol. All of the other pistols, I should say, not just most, all of the other pistols in game shoot 6 bullets, and that's it. The Lamat has 9 round ball shots and a buckshot shot. I think what, 410, something like that. Anyways, and the buckshot shot is almost identical to buckball. It's not, but good enough, right? Good enough of a comparison. So you get this really good buck and ball shot, right, that you can use. And you get 9 bullets. So you get 10 shots out of it. That at a close range, that should be 10 guaranteed kills. You know, you shouldn't be missing your pistol shots. So to not use the Lamat when you have the opportunity is, you know, it's not fatal in big servers like this. But if this was like a 60v60, which you do see later at night on the weekdays, like 2 a.m. on a Thursday, you might see like a 70v70, right? That kind of thing. If the Rebels have a Lamat, that can oftentimes turn around. But yeah, you know, so, even though the Yankees, yeah.
So I just learned that I can't get the Lamat. I'm like level 35.
Yeah, you probably can't get it though.
Dang.
Yeah.
Give spectators points. Give spectators XP.
Why? No, dude. Spectators should get negative XP. The fact that we're spectating right now, we should lose levels.
Dude, if spectators could gain XP, you'd have so many people just sitting spectator.
What do you think?
Yeah.
It'd be bad.
You know, I have a theoretical way to get infinite XP. Not like cheating or anything, just by abusing the game mechanics. I've never done it though, so I don't know if it works. It's just in my brain rattling around. You know?
What, playing the game?
No, I'm not. If I say it, it might get patched.
Ah.
So, I don't know. It's, you know.
So I see what you're doing. You actually don't have a strategy, but you're saying that so that when the devs watch this video, when the devs watch the video, they panic about it. So then they focus on that instead of what's important with this game, like Calvary. You're the reason why this game never gets updated.
Oh, well, I've had my fair share of exploits, but
like the
remember I was with Cord. Was it Corded I was with when we showed the devs that? He showed the devs it. I was with when he did it. It's somebody in the 6th Louisiana had the reload glitch that was really easy to do, where you have to get like a 3-second reload. And they had. Okay, I'm not gonna name names, but I knew a lot of people who kept that hidden for months, and they wouldn't tell me how to do it. They wouldn't tell the devs how to do it, and they would just sit in pubs, sit in events, and do it. That kind of pissed me off. Because at least I think if you report, unit charging, but they're not gonna like it. I think if you report a glitch, you should be allowed to use it until the glitch is patched. But he didn't report it. Yeah, again, the Rebels have good ammo here. The Yankees aren't even charging them together. But the Yankees have such a numerical advantage. Where are the Rebels? Where are the Rebels? What? They're advanced at the Yankee spawn!
Wait, what? Oh. Weird. I mean, Confederates held that pretty dang well, despite them being outnumbered by so much.
I didn't even realize they were outnumbered because of how well this group people were holding. But Benjamin's unit is just fucking lollygagging, dude.
Benjamin unit like to be everywhere but the battle.
Yeah, really.
They're taking a tour. Honestly, I'm surprised the devs don't have a mode where we can just like spawn in the battlefield. But Benjamin's group is going to get behind here and surprise these Union respawns and kind of get behind them. I mean, these Union guys are just reloading. They don't even know.
Dude. This is what I was talking about, dude. In public matches, it's a lot where you can just like walk up to a bunch of them. If your group is charging, It doesn't
Oh,
matter. You can like, wipe
become
them
more
and push your
competitive.
size just because they're all loading. Yeah, Rebels are gonna win that engagement, but they did lose the Alamo position, which was fatal. If you look now, they're
The
around a third of a
Confederates
station.
should just turn right back around and wipe this. That's not many.
It's not, but in the act of wiping them, they would lose around even tickets, proportionally that is. They would lose more tickets, but proportionally it'd be even. So, interesting where you see here now where it kind of happened what I was talking about at the beginning where the Rebels encircled the group on the Alamo position. But it doesn't seem like the Rebels wanted it. And in fact, the Rebels are very low in tickets for the time spent. 32 minutes and this far through engaged is practically fatal. It would take, an infinite overtime Sevi Shrek kind of thing to do this. Or an act of God, or the Yankees do something stupid, or just pure, roll the dice luck. But I think the roll the dice luck is actually going against the Rebels right now. I see people like Two Dope, Ruskies, a guy named M1911, Madden, people just walking away from the Rebel line and at the enemy.
They're gonna reclaim that position because of the Rambos.
Yeah,
Which is kind of funny.
The Rambos are winning. They're getting a good KDR, but they're losing so many tickets for their team. You know what I mean?
So I assume you're against the idea of having a kill counter at the end of a game.
I'm very against the idea of having a kill counter. Yeah, I think the devs are smart to exclude it, and they shouldn't back down on that, I think. Why are the Rebels doing back there at their spawn volleying? They can't even see the Yankees.
Keeping them entertained.
Yeah, that's fair. But this group under Viceroy in the 12th Virginia just volleyed his own unit. Now he's having his guys shoot his own friendlies.
Where? Huh? Where?
Back at the Rebel spawn.
Oh, I forgot the spawn was all the way over here.
Yeah, he had him just shooting. Okay, now he's moving, but he had him shoot at the friendlies for like a good minute and a half.
Kind of based.
Kind of based, that's true, kind of based. I think the Rebels should be playing more conventional here. The Rebels are trying to play, wacky. They're doing this, they're doing that. The general Rebel strategy has been refined to a point where it's kind of winnable on this map with good leadership, with good micromanaging. Where it's almost winnable. Like this map isn't the worst map to play as Confederate anymore. But instead of using these really good advantages that the community has found over years, they're just kind of like not. They're not using the Alamo. They're not using the hill. They're not using the shade. A shade is huge in this game, by the way. If you're in my regiment, I've had multiple drills that are pretty much just shade, just be in the shade. If you're in the shade and the backdrop is shade, you're invisible.
I don't know
It's crazy. So, but they're not using that. They're not using the shade. They're not using the brush. There's kind of like they're trying to do the opposite of normal strategy, and they also have the obvious problem of people, even high-level people, walking away from their line and at the Yankees, and you can't have that.
So, changing topic here. Sevi's favorite part of the game, artillery here, is doing what Sevi loves, counter-battering.
Counter-battering, that's awesome. I sure love having a whole 10% of my manpower not contributing to the actual main function of the game. That's awesome. Really need that to happen, yeah.
Yeah, they're flipping many guns here, a total of 0 guns flipped.
Probably got until like 6 ticket kills.
I saw a artillery shot on this map earlier today, hit underneath a gun, and the gun did not flip, and I was kind of pissed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that it's not just the skill. People oftentimes, when I say that I don't think artillery is that good, especially when you're thinking about, if it's worth the manpower on certain maps to even have artillerists, they take that as a personal attack on them, and that's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to say that due to the game mechanics, even if you play well on certain of these maps, it doesn't do anything. And what we see here is that both of the cannons, this is one of my personal pet peeves, because the Otto and Sherrick cannons, they really can't do much on the actual point of fighting. The fighting happens in the east, the cannons are to the west. The cannons cannot see the fighting. If the Confederates had nobody on artillery right now, they would probably be over the ticket stage. They would probably be even closer to battle ready still. Those extra 10 people with Springfield 42s loaded with buck and ball on this left flank would have held any of those advances. That being said, it comes down to a lot of factors, right? If Benjamin's group had been there, if they had been a little bit together more, if they had just been better shots, then they would be doing better. So it's not just artillery, obviously, but it's just one of those things that you can improve. If you're playing a game like Hoi 4, and I know a lot of people in Warbites play Hoi 4, so it's a good comparison. If you're playing a game like Hoi 4, you know, and you have the opportunity to get a 10%, you know, like attack. 10% attack is fucking huge. You're playing EU4, you get 10% combat infantry combat ability. That's huge. 10% infantry combat ability. That's huge. But the people over here playing War Rights like, oh, 10% manpower. Who gives a shit?
Union pushing forward on the right side now, back to where they were.
You see, they've maintained around the same ticket differential. Union around a third of a stage up, which is where we want to be. Union are playing this. I've been criticizing the Rebels a lot, and I've really given the Union their due. They are playing this pretty darn well. Is that a weird little move at the beginning? I wouldn't have changed much of the Union strategy so far. They're doing very well. Even for a, even an event, if they were doing this in an event, they would be winning. This is very, very well done by the commanders. They're working together very well, and it's clear to see that not only they're working together very well, but they're having a good way of talking to the guys. Wow, it wasn't the worst until hit ever, but it only killed like 5 or 6 people, and the rest of the guys are standing back up. So it's like, you know, great. You know, how long did you take to actually get that kill? Right? It's 27 minutes in.
It's 1 yard away, guys.
I'm not trying to say here that artillery gets no kills. It's just that proportionally, it's oftentimes not working.
How many on the flag, by the way? Like,
but it's not a personal attack on anybody, it's just how the game works.
Yeah, it is.
The Rebels are countering the strategy very well, though. You can see the Rebels are forming up. They're doing what I was saying that they should do, really. They're holding in the shade. One of the groups is. They're holding on the top of the hill. They're shooting a lot of Bucking Ball down. I hear a lot of Springfields loaded with Bucking Ball. And they're just kind of surrounding. That's very cool. So Rebels are playing this well. They're closing up that taking gaps. So nice job on the Rebel commanders are now. You don't see that many Rambos. The Rebels are doing a good job of keeping their guys in line. Again, though, 26 minutes taking losses. You need to do a lot better than that. 26 minutes taking losses is so early for taking losses. That you know the Yankees could fuck up a lot. They could get half a stage down, and they'd probably still win. Yeah, why are the Yankees just standing there? That wasn't that bad for the.
That was a good artillery shot. Oh,
Yeah,
there's a lot
like-
more standing up than I thought.
Yeah, a lot of them stood up. Yeah.
That's
Again, though,
surprising.
you know, he killed like maybe 8. I'm being generous there, like 8. You know, again, like Union flags respawn 8 people in like 10, 12 seconds. You know, something like 20 seconds like that. Getting kills isn't necessarily the point here. The point is to get ticket damage. And if you're the Rebels, you need to do that. And again, the Rebels now they're kind of having a guy named Teufelshunden, a Devil Dog guy advancing. You got
Yeah, taking losses.
there's 2 different people with dog in their name on the Rebel team advancing at the Yankees right now. And Yankees retreating. It's odd. Again, losing like maybe 5 guys.
The
with that
Confederate
shot.
guy died. It was a team kill.
Oh, that's awesome. Ticket stage is about evened up. Confederate's a little bit low. Union, they're...
Why are they pushing
You know,
out? Confederate Benjamin is pushing out.
Yeah, why? Okay, maybe this isn't...
I mean,
This would be
you,
the worst in the event if you had all your guys loaded, but he's charging forward like 6 guys. He has like 6 friendlies, and they're charging out a line at these Yankees. And Yankees are turning around, killing him. Not worth it all for the Rebels here, losing sizable tickets here. And again, if somebody might say, like, oh, Sevi, look at that. They went from even to like a 10th of a stage down. Who gives a shit? Everybody gives a shit. That is what causes rounds to be won and lost. 10% here, 10% there, you know. You don't, you know.
nice shot.
Sure, you see those again. More of it. More Rambos. More Rebels walking out of line. Even though the Rebels won that position, they can't stop walking out of line, and that's just one of those things you do in public games.
This guy in game is level 55. He's a private in the 4th New Jersey. That's kind of wild.
Maybe he's not really a private. Like maybe he's just one of those guys that just wears tags so he doesn't get recruited.
Yeah, that's fair.
Independent power, that's
Oh yeah. In a grand campaign matchup today, there was a guy in the ANV, a recruit, and towards the end of the round, someone said, "Hey, are you in the Discord?" And the dude's like, "What Discord?" And then they sat and talked. It was like an older guy too, so it, like, I was like,
Yeah, we've had that.
did he just like join with tags on? Like,
No, we've had similar things in the IVB where we had shit like there was this one guy who joined, and then he would be in the Discord call with us, but then his friends would be. There's a bunch of there's like Yankees and Rebels in this bush here, by the way. That's really weird. Anyways,
in the center.
yeah, there was like 3 other Yankees and Rebels, and none of them were fighting, and they're still not fighting. They still don't see each other. Anyways, I think it was his girlfriend or just another. I don't remember what the exact story was, but he had like 3 other people who he gave the password to, and was like talking to in like a different call. And we're like, dude, you can't just like, you know, if you're gonna be in our regiment, you can't just give the fucking the thing out to other people who aren't gonna be in the fucking thing, you know? And they just ramble the whole game. And it's like, dude, like, I think he didn't even get 15 minutes in before we told the admins to ban the other people, because like, dude, these guys are rambling wearing IVB tags, you know?
That's wild.
Yeah, the pace is slowed down, but you definitely see here the rebels are around maybe a quarter of a stage down, but that's not the big thing here. The big thing is that they're taking losses with 23 minutes left. Halfway through taking losses at that, that's extremely hard for rebels to win here. The only comprehensible way I can think of winning is Union early capture, rebels wipe them on point and push them down the left hand. But again, you're not going to see that because it's okay.
So Union gonna charge at 21, I think I heard.
Okay.
Or at least they're gonna do
I
something.
like this. The Union are. You see here where both sides are definitely trying a little bit, you know, better at actually, you know, playing good strategies.
Okay, Confederates are so spread out.
I wouldn't say it's that bad. If you really think about it, if you look at it, it's Benjamin's group in front of everybody else who's holding the Alamo.
Right.
And then he had some skirmishers between him and the main line. If he fell back, they would fall back.
Probably.
So it's not that bad.
Maybe.
Again, the why is he so far forward? Why is he allowing himself to be shot by the Yankees? I think the 212th Virginia units are playing very well together. And similarly on the Yankee team, all of the Yankee regiments playing very well together. Their officers are constantly in communication, constantly bouncing ideas back and forth, and that's what you got to see. That's the beauty of public games and public officers. While you really, on the Confederate team, you see it with 3 of the officers, and then one of them is kind of going, boopity-doopity-doop, you know?
Boopity-boop-boop.
Yeah, before the game started, before we started recording, in the game chat, there was like 5 different rebels trying to tell Benjamin not to officer.
So wait, how many downvotes does he have?
I don't think it's that many, but they were like, "Yo, Benjamin, maybe we should set this one up, bud." Yeah, okay, it's not that bad at all. But how many downvotes do I got?
2.
Oh, only 2. Okay, that's not bad.
Let's make it 3.
Dude, there was one pre-match muster that I was doing, and now was in the server too. And we were, if you don't know, I don't know if you've seen us do this recently, but whenever it's an Eastwood muster, we like to get the IV guys up to the rocks from the Yankee spawn, and then say, these rocks are ours. Any other Yankees that get here, you know, team kill them, right? So we defend those rocks.
Right.
But then Pratley was able to flank us, took the rocks back over, and then had his guys all downvote me. So within like 10 seconds, my entire group was wiped, and I had 30 fucking downvotes.
Remember for the War Rights tutorial we made, which you should check out, shameless plug. So you can server mute people in the you can server mute people if you enough people mute them, just like downvoting. I remember we server muted you in a public server, like you were running around people saying, "Hey, can you mute me?"
Yeah. and they just wouldn't. They're like, "What do you mean?" Yeah, that was the best.
Come on, guys. Come on, bro.
So,
You see here, Skynet is advancing with his unit on the far left. He's advancing with the 29th Massachusetts. A very interesting regimental history there. If there was a lot of more downtime in this round, I definitely would talk about that.
Union's advancing on all fronts.
Yes. And rebels are almost at breaking, so if I was the unit commander here, I would just say pretend they're on breaking, cap the point. Why?
Right.
Because by the time you cap, they'll be breaking. You know, just pretend they're breaking and you're good. They're probably not going to do that. They're probably going to go for the kills or not. Yeah, you see them going up there going for the kills.
Benjamin's group is going to get him to the breaking.
But who would have thought? Who would have thought? I would like to say that I think that the other regiments on the CSA are definitely playing very well, and their officers are very well keeping their guys' information. If you look at the contrast between the two groups, Benjamin's group's all spread out of line, and you go up here to the 212th Virginia officers side by side, all their guys' information, nobody rambling.
Yeah, they got
it's
their
just
own
a completely
breaking.
different site. Yeah. So you
And
see the
they're
people who
coming
aren't
down.
good at pub officer. So yeah, even if the Yankees lose this position, though, it doesn't matter. The rebels are breaking. It's 19 minutes. It would take an act of God for the Yankees to lose this.
Glorious
That's
music.
awesome.
The Civil War music we know and love.
Everyone else can
Yeah, I would like to say though, now that the Yankees are wiped, that means I have time to talk about the 29th Massachusetts or the 28th Massachusetts. Yippee!
Yippee!
If you look at them though, down on the point, you can see the green flag, and you might say, wait, these guys are in 9th Corps, and the Irish Brigade was in 2nd Corps. What's up with that? The regiment called the 28th Massachusetts in real life
down the road, they're coming
was
straight
mustered
for you.
in the, I think, 1861 going in 1862. And all the recruit posters, all of their stuff, all of it was for Mar's brigade. Mar wanted a regiment from Pennsylvania and one from Massachusetts. He wanted to represent those two states. So he already had his 3 New York regiments. He wanted those 2 though. So he got the 116th, 116th? Yeah, 116th. Pennsylvania, all right. That worked out well. But then the 20th Massachusetts. So he was recruiting that. They were recruiting locally, and all their stuff was like, we want to go join Myers Brigade, right? That was all their shit. And then the Major General of Volunteers, who I think at this point was the division commander with the 9th Corps, talked to Lincoln. And he was like, hey, can I get the next regiment from Massachusetts that finishes their recruitment? And Lincoln was like, oh, sure, I see no issue there at all. And the next regiment to finish their recruitment was, by pure chance, the 28th Massachusetts, the Irish regiment. Completely a bunch of Irish, mostly off the voter, section, right? So he just kind of takes them and puts them in a brigade. So that's why they're here at Antietam in 9th Corps, going over here on the south part of the battlefield instead of the 2nd phase up north. And then in their place, they just gave a bunch of like a normal regiment of like Americans, like most of the Anglos. It's called the 29th Massachusetts, the next regiment, and just stuck them in the Irish brigade. So at the Battle of Antietam, like one of the biggest, one of the standard-sized regiments in the Irish brigade was just a normal regiment of guys that weren't Irish. And they didn't hate it, but Mar tried to give them an Irish flag after the battle to swap them, so it was okay. But as a departing gift, Mar was trying to give them an Irish flag. And they was like, oh look, so and they declined it because they didn't want to look like Fenians. They're Irish, So Mar like made this custom. He paid for a custom-made flag for them, and then said no thanks.
Rejected. Damn.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So kind of funny. All was well that ends well,
So true. Here comes the Union. They're going straight to point.
Yeah, Irish flag waving around the field with a puke green doesn't really look that good.
You know,
you see here where the rebels are doing a pretty smart thing where they're shooting the fishbowl. This would be smart if they weren't on breaking.
Alright, hold this point.
Yeah, this is okay in events to do, but in pubs, what this means is that when the rebels go to charge, a bunch of their guys will still be back loading or not in the melee otherwise. You can see here that it's a very sprung out advance. So I'm not to say the rebels really had much odds to begin with, but if they wanted to play ideally, they wouldn't have held back.
half the Union's still holding back too.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, they are. Can't hurt, I guess. Rebels are winning on point, but just look at those tickets. Rebels
Yeah.
I
don't know if it'll really matter.
Even if they win this melee would cost them their. They'll bring them down to last stand.
Point going back in favor of the CSA, but again, not really meaning a whole lot.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. That it really doesn't mean that much for them. It's a token victory.
It shouldn't.
A Pyrrhic victory. Well, you see, again, like I said a minute ago, even if the rebels win this melee, they're about to hit last stand.
They should.
If the Yankees full committed, they would have won. But again, they do this thing where like they hold a bunch of guys back with flags and they don't complete the charge. It's like, why do that? You're not saying. I really dislike the whole new meta of a bunch of new commanders that have started leading in the last 2 years.
There we go.
Where they like holding their flag back. I don't like holding flags back at all. I really disdain that. I think it's very. Don't take me out of context. There's definitely sometimes where you should not have the flag up in the front and flag within the. But.
What do you mean? It's either one extreme or the other. There's no gray area. It's
Yeah,
either.
that's true.
It's yes or no, black and white. Very simple.
Hey, one thing. Okay, another. I was talking on the other Burnside Bridge map about area denial. That's one of the key points of artillery. One of the points where it's actually good. Another point is last stand. If your enemy's in last stand and you have a shit ton of time, yeah, artillery can do some damage. Artillery can bring them down because artillery is pretty okay at getting kills. It's not very good at getting kills.
Confederate artillery just wrecked the Union. They got a couple kills, but that's just
not really
funny.
ticket damage. Not really ticket damage though. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I mean. Is that sure they can get kills and they're pretty okay with that, and especially if they're well commanded and the Yankees are holding in the middle of the open for some fucking reason.
Obama used to.
What the fuck are you doing there? Okay. Yankee artillery hitting the ground in front of the rebels, making a really cool show, but not really doing anything.
Fireworks!
The firework had a malfunction and landed in the ground. Rebels are doing what they need to be doing
Man.
here, holding on the point. They are last stand, and their coordination's kind of falling down as their officers die. Bayshore is still alive, coordinated group on the far Rebel left. You see the Rebel center, you still see Collins, and both the 12th Virginia officers are still alive, and they were the ones coordinating the most. Again, when you see regimentals and two different regimentals in the same leadership thing, you could probably safely assume they're Discord called together. It's a very big move if you have public officers and your officers are in a Discord call together. That's huge.
So, when we know about the shade, when you're looking from my Confederate guy just team killed his flag.
Touch that flag, you know.
If you look from my view, you can see the Union is all in the shade. They don't even look like they're there. I'm zooming in and it's still hard to see them. The shade and trees?
But there's a shit ton of Union there.
Right, so I mean you're gonna see them, but they're still. This guy's pretty freaking well.
Yeah. Shade is huge. Shade is huge, especially if you're smaller women's pace. But even in this giant formation here, having shade is almost as good as that pistol. Almost, obviously not as good, but almost as good as that pistol. I'd rather have shade than a snake fence.
Here
Because
goes
the
Union.
fence tells me exactly how to aim.
Oh, the officer died.
Again, the Yankees might lose this next charge, but you know they're gonna lose enough.
They're going to the final push.
Yeah, Rebels have a lot of guys alive, and a lot of guys held back. If the guys held back advanced, then they'd do well. Why
Wait.
are the...
What?
It's odd to me that the Yankees have not hit final... Oh, okay. Yankees hit final push. If the Rebels all had buckball here, I would actually say they would have a pretty okay chance at winning. A bunch of people in the game chat, I didn't spawn in, but I clicked spectator after hitting Rebel. Around 50 Rebels are alive right now compared to 103 Yankees on the team. So it's around 2-1 advantage, but they have a 2-minute time limit. If the Rebels had buckball, I would almost give it in their favor.
I mean, we'll see. Union's still not going. Some of them guys, there's mostly just Rambos going forward.
They're gonna
there
come
you
forward
go.
though, and it's a 50 versus 100, so...
Fair fight, fair fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Yankees, it is an attack man. I don't, you know, I oftentimes say, you know, oh, do you want to win a public match? Do you want to be a good public officer? Oh, only officer on attacking maps.
Right.
Which is, you know, in a public match like this, you know, the defenders have the huge detriment of the fact that their own members will just walk away from the line and throw them. But I thought the Rebels played very well here, though.
Yeah. The Rebels won this map earlier today.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Well, I mean, if you have good
It was
officers,
it was
again, I
like
think,
if there was 30 more seconds on the game clock today, I think Union would have won. But
I see. Yeah, it's off. Yeah. This one, you see, this one I don't think looks a lot closer than it was. I think the Union had the upper hand this whole game, and although it did come down to last stand on a push, I think the Union won this handily, and they're really,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you have any other thoughts for the round?
Yeah, I think that the Union definitely played well. They did what they were supposed to. There's a couple points where it's like, why would you do that specific move? But there's always some fuck-ups. And they definitely played together. That was huge. The Rebels, 3 of their companies playing very well, specifically the regiments under the 12th Virginia. I did notice just now that 12th Virginia did stack the buckball regiments. I did not check how many of them had sprinkled 42s, but I sure hope a lot of them. But what you really saw here was that you need to be coordinated if you want to win a defense map. If all 4 Rebel companies were coordinated, they might have won this. But instead, they were pretty much consistently a quarter stage to half a stage down. So, yeah. Overtime and Rebel, yeah, Yankees got this.
Yeah. What?
Oh, Dixie. Oh, yeah.
Dude, sometimes I hear these songs and I just like the Gettysburg soundtrack, and I'm like,
What do you mean you're like,
It's just satisfying. I don't know.
Okay.
I rewatched Gettysburg the other day. It was like, dang, I enjoyed this song.
Extended edition, I hope.
I watched the extended edition in Spanish. You can find the Spanish version. You can find the Spanish version of Gettysburg, and it's really funny because there's some scenes where there's like a bunch of background soldiers saying noises like "get up, go, move" or whatever, but they all do it. They dub it in Spanish, and it's the funniest
it was very
thing.
impressive. It was very well done.
It was very well done.
Okay, I do want to take note of these losses here. The Yankees had a lot more losses, a lot more skirmishing, and a lot more out of line. But they're attacking on this map. The Yankee officers were smart enough to keep up the attack even after losing a shit ton of tickets, even after losing a melee. And that's exactly what we need to do. That was very well played by the Yankee officers. So while I do think that oftentimes it comes down to just attacking, they play well.
Indeed. Thank you for watching.